Alright guys, so now we're going to look at the box shadow property, and box shadow actually takes a bunch of different values, so we're going to go over those and we're going to just show you how to add some shadows to some divs, some elements here. So let's create a new file. We'll call it 04 underscore box underscore shadows.html, and let's add our boilerplate. Say box shadows and style. Now for the HTML, I'm just going to put in a container class, and let's do 3 boxes. So we'll do dot box, and then in here let's put in h3. I'll just say heading, and then a paragraph. I'll do lorem 10, and then I'm just going to have 3 of these. So we'll just go ahead and bring this down 3 times. All right, let's open this with live server, and it should look like this. So what I want to do is I'm going to use flex to display the boxes. So we're going to take the container class, and we're just going to say display flex. Okay, so we have our boxes, and then I'm just going to add some base styling to the box class as well before we get into the shadows. So just some padding, and then let's do some margin, and let's see, let's do a background of coral, and we'll say color white. Alright, so now we have some boxes. I should probably make it a little wider, so I'm going to close this up, and we should be good, like right here. Okay, so we have boxes. Now we're going to add some shadows, so I'm going to say box shadow. Now, like I said, there's different basically options or values that you can use. So I'm going to paste in a comment right above, and we're going to put in 3 values here to start off with. So the first is going to be the offset X, next will be the offset Y, and the last will be the color. So you guys know what a shadow is. It just comes off the box. Now offset X is going to be on the X axis. Okay, X is always going to be horizontal, Y is vertical. So let's say for the X axis, or I'm sorry, X offset, we want to do 10 pixels. And then for the Y, we'll do 10 pixels as well. And then next will be the color. I'm going to use teal. Okay, it's kind of weird colors, but I just want it to stand out. So let's go ahead and save that. And as you can see, it added a box shadow. It put 10 pixels on the X axis, 10 on the Y. All right, now I'm going to be adding different box shadow values. The next one, I want to add the blur radius, because there's actually more that you can add, and one of them is a blur radius. So this is going to have 4 parameters. So I'm going to copy what I did here, and this is just going to overwrite the one before it. So the blur radius is going to be after the offset Y and before the color. And the blur radius is just that. It's going to add a blur effect to it. And it's in pixels, so let's say 20 pixels. And we'll save. And now notice that the shadows have a blur. And if these stick out too much for you, if you want them to be less, you could do like 5 pixels and save, and now it's less. And you can experiment with it. Now you can also do negative values for the offsets. What that'll do is it'll add the shadow to the top and the left. By default, we have the shadow coming out of the right and the bottom, but what we could do is just let's copy this line here, and let's just say -5 and -5 and save, and now you can see that the shadow is actually on the left and the top. Okay, so -5 on the X is going to go this way, -5 on the Y is going to go up. All right, now we can also do a spread radius. So how far do we want it to spread? So I'm going to actually copy these comments again, and I'm just putting these comments here so you know what each of these values are. So let's grab this one here. So we'll say Let's do 3 pixels for the offset Y, offset X. Blur radius, let's do 10 pixels. And then, let's see, for the spread radius, we'll do 1 pixel. And then instead of using a solid color, I'm going to use RGBA. So it's red, green, blue, alpha. So the red, green, blue, we've went over this. So I'm going to use 0 for them all, which will make it black. And then the alpha is a transparency. So we're going to do 0.3 here and save. So this is something, I don't really use box shadows that much. I don't particularly like the look of them. Some people do. If I were to use them, it would be something like this, something very, very subtle. So and I would probably use RGBA because the less transparent, the lighter this is. If we were to do like 0.9 and save, you can see it's much darker. Now you may like that kind of look, but I don't. I think it looks really 2002-ish. So I don't use shadows that much, but nevertheless, you should know how to add them. All right, let's see. We can also do an inset box shadow, meaning that it's not on the outside, it's on the inside. So I'm going to just paste this in here, and let's say box shadow, and we can specify inset, and then we do the offset X and Y. So I'm actually going to do -3 pixels and -3, so that it's at the left and the top. And let's do teal and save. I'm sorry, not at the left and the top. It's going to be down here, because when you do inset, it's the opposite. If I wanted it to be the left and the top, I would do positive values. Shows you how much I actually use this. But yeah, we can do that if we want. Now it's on the inset of the box. It's not coming like from the outside. And then we can also do multiple shadows. So to do that, we could say like box shadow, and we could do, let's say, 3 pixels, teal, and then we could put a comma, and let's do -3 pixels, -3 pixels, and we'll do olive. It's going to be very ugly, but just to show you how this works, if I save, you can see now I have the teal box shadow right here, and then the olive up top. Okay, so you can separate them with a comma if you want to add more. And of course, you could add a blur radius. If we do, let's do 10 pixels here and 10 pixels here, and we'll save, and we get our blur radius. Okay, so that's going to be it for box shadows, guys. Like I said, it's not something that I usually use. I don't really like the look of them, but that's how you use them. In the next video, we're going to take a look at text shadows.